Hey guys, Glaze here. Today I'll be talking to you about finding your perfect sensitivity within CSGO and also realistically any other FPS game out there as well. We'll be talking about things like what sensitivity range pros mostly use, what is good about high and also low sensitivity, and also the most important on the list here, how to find your perfect sensitivity for you. So let's first talk about what pro players mostly use. Now this is actually between about 1.6 to 2.5 in most cases at 400 DPI, or 0.8 to 1.25 with 800 DPI instead. And of course, there are some exceptions with a lot lower sensitivity and also a lot higher sensitivity in pros as well. However, this is the more common range that you'll be seeing most pros be playing in. One thing that may be useful information to know is that AWPers at pro levels tend on average to have a slightly higher sensitivity than most other riflers. So if you're an AWPer, this may be helpful information to you. So now we have established what the pros use, let's now talk about the advantages and also the disadvantages with low and high sensitivity. Low sensitivity in theory makes it easier for you to aim as you have much more control over the mouse than you would with a higher sensitivity. But of course, with a much lower sensitivity, you might struggle sometimes entering onto a site like A Newt for example, coming out of hut having to clear lots of angles at different elevations. So there are both advantages and also disadvantages for both high and low sensitivity. And just to mention on top of that, I don't really like the argument that you cannot become consistent with a high sensitivity, as many pros have proven this wrong in the past and also current. It will most likely take you a longer period of time to get to a higher level of aiming than it would on a lower sensitivity. There is also another thing to mention here guys that is a lot more practical depending on the environment that you are in as well. With a low sensitivity you require much more mouse space than you would with a much higher sense. So do keep this in the back of your mind when we move on to the final part on how to find that perfect sensitivity for you, but luckily enough the guide does actually adapt to your personal environment, so don't worry about this too much as well. So now that we've answered a few different questions around sensitivity, let's now look at how you can find your own perfect sensitivity for yourself. Now I just want to start by saying that this guide is heavily based around your mouse space that you have available. The reason for this is that you do not want to be limiting your movement with a small mouse space, so you'll need to compensate a little bit with a higher sensitivity. So now that I've said that, let's jump into the offline server and start the guide. Now because I'm actually going to be doing this myself within the video, I will be using my own video settings that is 4:3 1280 by 960 just to make sure this is accurate for myself as well. So I apologize for the video quality in advance for this section. So this guide is based off a retired CS Source player who made this originally. However, I currently cannot find the website anymore to this guide unfortunately, so I cannot give credit where credit is due. The first thing you want to do is put your sensitivity on something that you're able to do a full 360-degree turn with, from one side of the mouse mat to the other. For this, I will be using 1.3 cents on 800 DPI. I use a 17.7 by 15.7 inch mouse mat if you are wondering. However, this shouldn't take longer than a few minutes to find out the sensitivity where you can do a full 360. Now that you have that sensitivity, you are going to be wanting to take a bit of time to do this. It should be roughly around 30 minutes to complete the entire guide that I'm about to show you. So you'll need a calculator and somewhere to note down the different sensitivities too. You can do this all on your computer with the built-in calculator and also the notepad built in as well. So now you want to get that 360 sensitivity you just found out and multiply it by 1.5. Note this down, then divide this by 2 and you'll have a total of 3 different sensitivities. A high one, the one you started with, and also a low one. Now give both the high and low sensitivity a test for about 5 to 10 minutes each and get a feel for what one is better for you. So now you want to track a still object while strafing from side to side and also changing distances sometimes, going close and sometimes far. Do this for about 5 minutes again like I just said, and repeat this on the low sensitivity as well. Find out which of the two is best for you by seeing which of the two that you can track easier on the still object that you've shot on the wall. Now you want to take the one that was best for you here and do one of the following. Either multiply it again by 1.5 if you pick the higher number, or divide it by 2 if you pick the lower number. So for me, I am now left with 1.3 as my high, or my 360 sensitivity originally, and 0.97 as the middle sensitivity, and 0.48 as the low sensitivity. Repeat the test again with the top and bottom numbers. However, this time you want to add the two remaining sensitivities that you have together to the middle and either the high or low sense, and then divide by 2. When you divide by 2, you will get a new average sensitivity of the 2, or a new middle number, I guess you could call it as well. You want to keep repeating this process, making sure to give each sensitivity about 5 minutes each, just to make sure you get a feel of how it is. So just keep doing this, adding the two together and dividing until you get to the point where you can't really feel a difference anymore. At this point, you should add the high and low numbers together and then divide by 2 again to get your perfect sensitivity within CSGO. Now I strongly recommend after getting this sensitivity, you go into deathmatch or just do your regular warm-up and practice routine to be 100% sure that this sensitivity is for you. You do not want to be playing with an incorrect sensitivity, so if it doesn't feel right at the end of this test, you can maybe try repeat it and also change some of the results as well for yourself. This will be all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it and if this guide helped you out as well. Until next time, guys, it's been Glaze and I'll speak to you very, very soon.